Hey everyone, I am coming to you today from our treehouse. No one wants to sit up here with me anymore, and so I thought this would be a great place to share with you today our short little devotion and then give you an outdoor challenge because it's a beautiful day and everybody likes to go outside and pick up rocks. My boys used to have jars and jars full of rocks. I find them in their pockets and everything else. So today I'm going to challenge you to go outside and find some rocks to go along with our Bible story, which is found in Joshua chapter 3 and 4. And in this Bible story, Joshua is supposed to lead the people across the Jordan River. And it is flood season. I mean, the river is just flooded. Have you ever been on the edge of a swimming pool and someone's told you, jump in, and let me catch you, and you were so afraid and so fearful? Or maybe you were just on the edge of the ocean and you were scared to put your feet in the water because you didn't know what it was going to feel like underneath. Well, we've all had fear and we've all had things that we worry about. And if you haven't, you will someday. I know I've had lots of times in my life that I was fearful and that I had to put my trust in the Lord. Well, in this story, as Joshua was leading the Israelites across the Jordan River, they had the Ark of the Covenant with them and lots of people. And so as they put their feet into the water, they could not see what the Lord had already prepared underneath the water, because He always keeps His promises to take care of us if we will listen to Him and follow His instructions. So as they began to cross the Jordan River, underneath the water, the floodwater stopped, and underneath the water there were stones that they could walk safely across to the other side. And so not only were they able to make it to the other side, they were challenged to take up those stones and to build a memorial. Now, a memorial is something that helps us remember something that's taken place in our lives. And the Bible tells us in Ecclesiastes 12:1 to remember your Creator in the days of your youth. And so while you're young, it's important for us to remember the things that the Lord has brought us through. For instance, I have a little girl in my room, and her family has been through so much. Her mother's had cancer, her brother's had a form of leukemia, and her dad is a policeman. And so there's times when she'll come to school and she'll be really concerned and worried about her dad because he is at work and he's a policeman. And so we'll talk about that, and she'll pray about it, and she'll give that worry over to the Lord. And so this stone could be a reminder to her of the times that the Lord is taking care of her father. This stone says BR. BR stands for Betty Ruth. And Betty Ruth was my grandmother. And I remember a time in my life when I was so scared and I prayed for her to be healed because I didn't want to lose her. And guess what happened? It was one of the saddest things that's ever happened to me. And I was so fearful of what my life was going to be like because my grandmother, Betty Ruth, passed away and she went to heaven. But when I grew older, I realized that the Lord did answer my prayer. He did heal her, and He gave her a new body. It was just in a different way than I realized. So when we gather all of those stones to remind us of the things that the Lord has brought us through, we can build a memorial with them to remember. And so in the Bible story, Joshua was commanded to take the 12 stones that represented the 12 tribes of Israel, and he was supposed to build a memorial to remind him and the children that were coming along behind them of what the Lord had done for them. And this is what the scripture says. It says, when people ask you, what mean these stones? Then ye shall let your children know, saying, Israel came over this Jordan on dry land. For the Lord your God dried up the waters of the Jordan from before you until you were passed over, as the Lord your God did to the Red Sea, when He dried it up from before us until we were gone over, that all the people of the earth might know that the hand of the Lord, that is mighty, that it is mighty, and that you might fear the Lord your God forever. So if you find yourself this week being afraid, whether it be afraid of germs or afraid of that you're not going to make it staying at home this week while school's out, or that you're going to run out of snacks, or whatever, you find yourself a stone and you remember, you let it remind you, let it be your worry rock, that the Lord always keeps his promises. And even if it's not promised in the way that we think it should be promised, he always, if we trust in him, he always has our best interest in mind. So I'm going to challenge you to go out with your family, or maybe you just want to do it individually if your parents let you go outside, and find yourself 12 stones. And I want you to think of the times the Lord has provided for you, or times that maybe you were afraid or worried that he brought you through. And you can do several things with those. And I'm going to show you some of the things that you can do with those stones. And I'm also going to share with you a challenge that I have for you. If you share a picture or a video of yourself completing one of the projects, your name will go into a drawing, and I'm going to give away a book. It's a very special book about some stones and about a Bible story. So I'm going to show you that right now. Your family may want to collect your stones and put them in a jar to remind you of all the things that Can you create something using the stones that you collect? This is a heart, or maybe a cross. Line the stones that your family collected up around a tree or in a flower bed to remind you of this moment that you shared together. This is an awesome children's book. I do not have my copy in hand because I don't have it here at my house, but it is called He is Risen, and it's The Rocks Tell the Story of Easter, and all of the illustrations are created using rocks. So this is where I got the idea for this challenge from. This is Jesus and the little children, and this is Jesus on his donkey, riding in on the donkey, and there's a cute little sun. And so if you complete any of the activities and you post a picture or a video in the comments, your name will go into a drawing to receive this book by Patti, Rokus, and it is called He is Risen, and I will send it to your family. So maybe you are going to put all of your family's stones in a jar to help you remember, or you're going to make a outdoor memorial somewhere in one of your flower beds, or one of the other activities I've posted or that you come up with yourself. Just be sure to share what you did in the comments, like the video, share it with your friends so they can hear the wonderful story that we went over today in Joshua chapter 3 and 4.